Hey guys, JoJo Boy Wonder here, back with another video. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you had a wonderful holiday and I hope your New Year's is amazing as well. I personally don't really believe in New Year's resolutions anymore because I feel like why wait till the 1st of January to change your life? If you feel that you need to change your life, you should do it as soon as you realize that you need to change your life. So I just changed my life as I see necessary. I don't wait till the 1st of January. No disrespect to people who do. I just don't anymore. Anyway, I am finished with school. Graduation is just around the corner. I can nearly taste my degree, guys. I can't wait. I don't know what a degree tastes like, but I'll let you know when I get it. Also, before we get into this, if you could like this video, share this video, subscribe. I'm not asking you for money. I mean, if you want to give me some money, that's great, but I'm not asking you for money. I'm not asking for your firstborn child. I'm just simply asking if you could share this video if you believe in the message and want this message to go around. If you could help a brother out, a brother would be eternally grateful. All right, so at the risk of getting drugged up and down the YouTube streets, I do want to be very clear about some things in this video. This video is to help serve as a way to have a conversation with all of you. This is not JoJo saying this is what it is. This is not me saying that this is law. You know, I'm not a law writer. This is me simply giving you the information to start a conversation so we can have a conversation, so that we can challenge some of the ideas and misconceptions that we have in the Black community. So with that being said, I will be using celebrities or famous people as examples in this video to kind of help drive home and kind of illustrate the points that I want to make in this video. I hold no ill will towards these people, no malice, nothing like that. It's just, I felt that these were good examples to use, again, to help kind of bring home what it is that I want to talk about. So, yeah, nothing personal against these people except maybe Rachel Dolezal, but other than that, nothing personal against these people. So let's start with the definition of race, right? Because that's what we're talking about in this video. The definition of race is defined as any one of the groups that humans are often divided into based on physical traits regarded as common among people of shared ancestry. So as the definition says, we are, as people, categorized based on how we look, our features, and the outside presentation, right? So race is based on looks. It's how you look. It's how you basically physically present to everyone else around you. That being said, we go by a person's phenotype rather than their genotype. We look at phenotype first. We're grouped based on phenotype. It's not to say that we don't consider a person's genotype, but it just simply means that we go based off the phenotype or how they look first. When you look at me, well, yeah. When you look at anyone, really, it's what do you see? Do you see a Caucasian person? Do you see a Latino person? Do you see a Black? Do you see Asian? And what determines that? Well, it could be your eyes, your hair texture, your skin. It could be any number of things. So it's all based off of your phenotype. So for those who may not be familiar with the words genotype and phenotype, let me explain. For genotype, it's our complete hereditary information. Think of your genotype as a storage house for paint. Within you could have any combination of colors to choose from. Let's say I have the colors purple, blue, and pink. That means that within me, I carry the genes for purple, blue, and pink. Now, my phenotype represents the things that we can physically see on one another, such as eye color, skin color, shape of our features, our hair texture, etc. So going back to the paint analogy, my phenotype would be the colors on me that you can identify. So this means that although I contain purple, blue, and pink within me, I might only show purple and blue. Got it? Keep in mind that because it's going to be very important throughout this video, but let's put a pin in that for now. So let's talk about the one drop rule and the one black ancestor rule. Okay, so back during the Jim Crow era, this was used as a divisive tactic to allow people with white skin to be placed at a higher pedestal and to have more rights, desirability, and freedoms than people who were considered mixed or have any shred of African DNA, right? So if you had like a grandmother or, you know, any black ancestor, even if they were so much as a fourth, you know, you were seen as a lesser white person, or you were just seen as black, period. And so this rule still exists today. It's carried on by all of us. You know, at this point, it's not even fully white people's faults. It's our faults too. Yes, they started it, but we are continuing it. It was different when we couldn't help it back then. Back then, we had to go with whatever we were told to do. You know, think about it as like, you know, with dogs and animals, how you have like a certain pedigree. Well, that's exactly what this is. The one drop rule was basically a pedigree for humanity. It was a pedigree system for humanity. Isn't that atrocious? Like, oh, you're not a pure white person. Like, you know, your pedigree isn't as, however they say it for dogs. Like it's not as good, it's not as high, it's not high quality because you were tainted with blackness, right? So that's how it was looked at. But we carry it on today in society with how we define blackness and whiteness in this country. So I'm going to say this now, and I'm definitely going to say it throughout this video because it is the most, how do I even want to say this? It's the most, I don't want to say poisonous, but it's the most, it's the strongest thing that's keeping this alive, that's keeping the system alive, is the one drop rule. We have to retire this tired ass one drop rule that tells everyone that they're black if they have a black ancestor. Because if we have white ancestors, are we white? So another important thing I want to touch on is what I like to call the weak white gene. What does that mean? So the weak white gene is this idea that blackness overtakes everything, that the white gene is so fragile that no matter what the percentage, blackness will always shine through. I see this a lot in the black community where, and this is typically black men, say that, oh, you know, oh, you got an ancestor, you black. You know, the black gene is dominant, the black gene is everything. And while I'm all for the greatness of our people, I'm all for that, it's a little problematic to believe that the black gene is so strong and that the white gene is so weak that every variation that comes out of a person is automatically black, that blackness is just this everlasting that's just this everlasting concept, and that nothing can do it. Like we don't see people saying like, oh, the Asian genes washed out the Latino genes, or that the Native American genes washed out the it's just ridiculous. I can't even think of it. But basically, we don't see other groups say, like the Native American genes, like washing out the Asian. Like we don't say that. We only say the black gene is so strong, it's washed out everything. And the white gene is so weak that it doesn't present at all. We're definitely going to get into that because that's just simply not true. Another thing I've noticed is, just a little side note here, is that whenever white is mixed with anything, almost from what I've seen, almost all the time, that individual or the way society sees that individual is always the non-white half. So for example, when we see a person who is half Asian and half Caucasian, usually that person by society will be viewed as Asian. It's funny how we all have a concept of what white is, and that white can never change, and that there is no bending of the white concept. But then as soon as it comes to the black concept, all of a sudden the waters are muddy. We don't have a clear understanding. Everyone's black. Like, that's just funny to me. I don't really understand how there's all of a sudden confusion when it comes to someone being half black or part black. But it doesn't happen to white people, right? So when is black not really black anymore? Well, let's start with this. For all intents and purposes for this video, we'll just say that 100% black, or black, just black, is being mostly black, having a mostly black genetic makeup, because obviously there are variations. And since we can't say the S word that has to do with Black history on YouTube, because, we'll get silenced for it, I'll just say that, when my African ancestors were enslaved, they were mostly forced. How do I even explain this? They were forced to breed. There's a term for it, miscegenation, which is like interbreeding between different races, whether it's forced or consensual. So yes, a lot of us to this day have some percentage of Caucasianness. There's like almost no one is 100% African, at least not if you're an African American. Some people don't like that term. I personally don't care for that term, but I'm using it because it's a term that a lot of people understand. So African Americans do have some percentage of Caucasian. It is what it is. We all have it. It's a part of our history. So that allows some variation for us. That's why some of us don't have super chocolate dark skin. I know I don't. I just consider myself medium brown. I mean, there's a light on me, so you can't really see my true skin tone, but it doesn't really matter. That's why there's variation with lip size. It's just, there's variations regardless, because even when you see people in Africa who really were largely unchanged, they still have variations within themselves. So it just allowed for us to have more variation amongst each other. So being black and having black ancestry are two different things, right? Having black ancestry doesn't necessarily make you black. In order to have an Asian baby, you need 2 Asian parents. In order to make a Latino baby, you need 2 Latino parents, Native American, and so on. However, when it comes to black people, for some reason, this changes. When you are biracial, or even maybe a 4th or an 8th or less, you are told that you are still black. Well, this is where the mess comes in, because if you tell people, this is the result from the 1-drop rule that I just talked about, right? So because people still abide by the 1-drop rule, then anyone with a shred of black DNA is seen by some people as black. There are some in our community more than others who do abide by this. I don't even want to say who it is, but I think we know who it is without me even saying it. But there's some of us in our community, especially when it comes to females or women, when she might be like an 8th black, but the rest of her is white, and all of a sudden, you black. We know who these people are, but yeah, so Black is pretty much the only race where we don't have to have two black children apparently to create a black child. Make that make sense. One example it's more current that I'm seeing now is Vice President Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris so her father is a biracial man. He is both black and white. People say Jamaican, but Jamaicans, as long as you are born in Jamaica, you're Jamaican. Now, African Jamaican is probably what people are thinking of. He is biracial, so he is white and black. Yes, he's Jamaican, but he's biracial. Let's be very clear about that. Her mother is a full-blooded Indian woman. So just for the sake of understanding things here, because DNA works in mysterious ways, but just for the sake of simplicity, she would be half Indian, 1/4 white, and 1/4 black. However, because of the one drop rule, America tells her that she is a black woman, and she does not even claim to be a black woman until it's serviced her, until she could get something out of it to get the black vote. That's neither here nor there, but the point is, because of the one drop rule, even though she's only 1/4 black, she is still labeled as black. She's half Indian. That is the most dominant part of her. So why is she not seen as Indian? Now, I have seen some articles where she's called an Asian American, and guess what? She didn't fight that. She didn't complain about it. She went along with it. You know why? Because blackness is abused. People, especially politicians, will use their blackness to get the black vote and to get the black crowd. In my opinion, Kamala Harris is not a black woman. She's a woman of color, but I see her as mostly Indian. She's multiracial. Either she's multiracial or she's Indian, but to me, she is not a black woman. She does not live her life as a black woman. She does not identify as a black woman unless it benefits her. So that's my stance on that one. This is probably controversial, and truthfully, I really don't care. But to me, let's take President Barack Obama, right? Barack is, I believe, half Jewish, which is Caucasian, and he is half black. He is labeled as our first black president. Now, in my mind, he is our first biracial president, which is cool. Representation for biracial people, awesome. But to me, it's a little tricky with him because he is biracial, but at the same time, I think a lot of people give him the pass because of his phenotype, how he looks. And yes, phenotypically, he does err more on the black side, but he's still biracial. He's still 50% white. So that's why when it comes to biracial people, I'm a little bit mixed because I'm not really sure. I think they should just be biracial, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's beautiful the way it is. But now I do consider Obama's daughters to be black. Why? Because Obama is with a black woman. He's with Michelle. Michelle is a black woman. He is a biracial man with a black woman. He's going back into blackness. So his children, in my eyes, are black. However, keeping along the same biracial thing, you have people like Meghan Markle, who does not heavily reflect the black phenotype, at least in my opinion. I see a lot of people say that she looks more like a white woman. I do think that she does look biracial, but I do agree more so with the people who see her more on the white side with her phenotype. And, you know, since Meghan Markle is apparently giving us royal black girl magic, a lot of people, I've seen black people get really excited again, we know who most of these people are, get really excited because Prince Archie, their baby, because you know Meghan Markle's with Harry, a white man, full-blown white man. Oh, we have a black prince, we have black royalty, you know, UK's first black prince. UK's first black prince. Really? This is what blackness is? A literal white baby? And there's nothing against Archie, you know, cute baby, but that baby is white. But since we tell biracial people that they are black, they take on at least some of them. I can't really speak for any of them, but I can only speak to what I see. And since a lot of biracial people take on a black identity, wouldn't that mean, and take on a black label, wouldn't that mean that their children would be black as a black person, right? See the issue? Y'all, it's even to the point where black people don't even know what other black people look like anymore. Let me give you an example. Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars is multiracial. He's like Puerto Rican. I can't remember his other parts, but black is not one of them. And there are black, and it sounds ridiculous as I'm saying this because I know a lot of people are like, obviously Bruno Mars isn't black, but there are people who really think that Bruno Mars is black. Go online and look. There are people asking, is Bruno Mars black? No, Bruno Mars just does music that is inspired by black culture, and because he has a very racially ambiguous look, and because we're taught that the one drop rule makes everyone black, then some people out there think that Bruno Mars is black. He's not black, y'all. Like, we gotta start being able to recognize our own people. Hopefully by now you're beginning to understand how harmful the one drop rule is and how much it really affects our culture and us as black people. Let me give you a famous example. Another one. I'm gonna keep throwing them at you. Rachel Dolezal. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone by now knows who Rachel Dolezal is, but if you don't, Rachel Dolezal is a whole white woman who infiltrated, I know she meant well, but she still lied, who infiltrated the NAACP and got up to a leadership role by putting on an act and trying to, it's pretty much blackface, but just, I don't even want to say a more respectful version because it's really not, but she basically did like a modern day blackface. Like when those girls do blackfishing, it's pretty much a modern day blackface. She tanned her skin. She got a perm to make her hair appear more curly or coarse. And she was taken in, wasn't even questioned. Why? Because people believe that because of the one drop rule, any shred of black will make you black. So all a white woman has to do is put a tan on and perm her hair. And a lot of you will think that, oh, well, they're black because blackness comes in all shades. Blackness can look like anything, even white people, right? If any amount of black makes you black, then why don't we keep that same energy and say that any shred of white makes you white? Now, I don't know my exact genetic makeup, but as an African American, I have white in me. It just is what it is. So can I take my whiteness and claim that I'm white? Can I identify as a white man? Officer, oh, you got it all wrong, officer. I'm a white man. I would get laughed in it would be utterly ridiculous to do something like that. But for some reason, when the tables are turned, it's perfectly acceptable. Oh, we all black, but we ain't all white. It's a double standard. It really is. And it has to go. If I can't identify as a whole white man, and I don't know what a white power sign looks like, but if I can't be white in all of my whiteness, if I can't be white in all of my whiteness, then a person with a shred of black should not be able to live in their blackness. And I said what I said. Okay, so let's use Drake the rapper as kind of like a mini case study, right? So Drake, if you don't know, is an American rapper. He's biracial. He is half Jewish, half black. Jewish people are white. If any of you don't know, he had a child with a white woman. And so because he had a child with a white woman, he produced his son Adonis, who's an adorable kid. But his son looks white. Drake was extremely, he did not believe this was his child. He got multiple paternity tests, which I'm not against that. I do believe that, you know, if you feel that something's wrong, then you should. But for me, it was the absolute disbelief that his child could look like that. And here's why. If you look at Adonis, he looks just like his grandmother or Drake's mother. So why would you be surprised that you produce a child as a half white man with a whole white woman and had a white child that resembled your mother's genes? I'll tell you why. Because in the society, you are told that you are a black man, and because of that, you can produce, or you think that you can produce, black children, no matter who you procreate with. That's obviously not true. Again, this goes back to the weak white gene topic that I talked about earlier. Obviously, Drake believes that his child should have came out brown. He couldn't believe that his child looked anything like his grandmother or anything like a white baby. Why would your child, like, did you really expect for your child to come out looking like Wesley Snipes? Did you really expect your child to come out looking like Samuel L. Jackson? Why? You are biracial and you procreated with a white woman. The way your child came out completely makes sense. So let's talk about another strong black man. That's so shady. But I mean, that's the topic of this video. So let's talk about another strong black man, right? So let's talk about the rapper Logic. Now, for those of you who don't know Logic, Logic says that he's a biracial man who looks completely and totally like a white male. Now, there's rumors that his father may be part Native American or even half, but that's just a rumor. So I'm not gonna go by that. I'm gonna give him, since I don't know for a fact, I'm gonna give him a benefit of the doubt and just say that he's a black man and that Logic is biracial. But the point I want to illustrate is that if the white gene is so weak and gets crushed and dominated every single time throughout the span of ancestry, why did he come out looking white? Why does he look like a white boy? And Logic, at every given opportunity, at every turn, loves to remind people that he has a black father. But yeah, from where I'm standing, it looks to me like the black gene got that ass whooped. I mean, finish him. Like, it looks like it got demolished. So clearly the black gene is not this superior gene that stays strong throughout every life, every procreation. And we really got to get rid of that. It just doesn't make any sense. Oh, also, Logic is currently, I think he's married to a white woman, and their child looks completely and totally white. Like, it doesn't look like there's anything there. But if Logic is a black man, right? Because we can't just excuse we can't just excuse Drake but not give Logic a pass too. No, they're both biracial men. They're both half black, and since half black allows you to be all of a sudden black, then wouldn't we have to give Logic a pass too? And I know I said earlier that it's based off of the phenotype, and it absolutely is based off the phenotype. But because of the one drop rule, because Drake does identify as a black man, if Drake is black, then so does Logic, even though his features do not look like it. See how the waters just keep getting more and more muddy? The one drop rule, man. Even though Logic looks completely and totally white, but that black gene though. That black gene though, right? That black gene though. And even though he has a baby who is, I guess, technically a fourth black, that black gene though. This is why I question being taught, because I grew up with this too. Like we're taught that blackness comes in all shades. But I don't believe that. I'm sorry. I don't believe that, y'all. So let's have an honest, respectful conversation about biracial people, right? So in society, biracial people are told that they are black, right? Because of the one drop rule, as we talked about before, they are barred out of whiteness. They are barred out of any privilege that would come with being white. And they are almost forced to pick their black side over their white side, even though they are equally both, right? If you really think about it, this is extremely problematic, because when it comes to whiteness, you are not allowed to be white. You will never be allowed to. You can say that you have a white parent. You can say that you identify as white if you want to, but you won't be taken seriously. Why? Because whiteness is a tight-knit club. It is what it is. It's a very tight-knit club that does not leave any room for any variation whatsoever. None. But because blackness is seen as the inferior race, then it's allowed to be expansive. It's allowed to be inclusive. It's allowed to be all inclusive, right? This goes back to the one drop rule, and I have to keep saying it over and over and over again, because it's like people, are you getting it by now? This is the problem. If you are half white, or really even if you might have like a lot more white presenting DNA, as long as there's something about you that shows that, hey, I think that's black, you will never, and I can see how that can be very difficult for a biracial person, to be forced to feel like you have to only pick one side, that you have to only be black. I've had biracial friends. Actually, I had one that I was pretty close to. We're not friends anymore, but when I met her, she looks like, I wouldn't say she looks completely white, but she looked as if, I believed her when she said she was mixed, but I thought maybe she was some kind of maybe Puerto Rican. But no, she's half black, half white. And if you didn't know any better, you may have thought she was a white woman. Maybe. She was pretty convincing, but she's a biracial voice that told me that she doesn't appreciate how, not that she has anything against, blackness, but she didn't appreciate how society told her that she only had to be black, when she has two equal sides of her heritage that she can identify with. And yeah, I get it. It's ridiculous. Let me be very clear about this. I am not telling biracial people that they can't identify as black. That's not necessarily my place. That's their decision to make. However, my thing is that I feel that biracial people should accept, no matter what their two halves are. Like if you're Asian and white, you know, you should be able to embrace both of those sides and just say you're biracial. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a crime to be biracial. You can't help the circumstances that you were born under. There's nothing wrong with two people of different races having a kid together. The problem is when society tells you that you must pick one side over the other when you are both parts equally. That's why I personally feel that biracial people should just say they're biracial. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, if you're biracial, it's your business what you want to identify as. So tell me, wonders, can biracial people, and if you're biracial, I definitely want to hear from you. If you're biracial, can you identify as only black? Anyone can answer this question. I want to hear from everyone. And don't just tell me yes or no. Tell me, explain to me why you feel that way or why you don't feel that way. Also, because, you know, I don't want to make it too easy. Also, tell me, does your logic also apply in reverse? So if you say, yes, biracial people can identify as black, can biracial people also identify as white? And if someone's a fourth black, like Kamala Harris, who can identify as a black woman, and not many people will challenge her on that, can she also identify as a white woman because she is equally 1/4 white, just like she's 1/4 black? Can she identify as white? Tell me why. It's a challenging question, and I really want to hear. So, does blackness come in all shades? No. In my opinion, no. I think we should change that to blackness comes in various shades. Various shades. All shades kind of gives people an excuse who aren't really black or who have a very scarce amount of blackness to join the club. We already have a ton of issues as it is as black people, and the last thing we need is people who truly are not like Rachel Dolezal, or if Prince, I mean, he's just a kid, but if anyone who has a similar makeup to like Prince Archie, Drake's kid Adonis, people like that. Like if we as a community allow people like that to claim blackness, to claim black, to claim themselves of us, that will continue to open up a whole host of problems. I encourage the black community to think critically about our standards, think critically about how we came to be. Anyone can wash out their race. Black people are no exception. We are not, while we are magical, we are amazing, we're not this super species that can continue our race no matter how often or how much we sleep with any other race. We can wash ourselves out. It happens. We have multiple examples, and we have to retire this one drop rule and stop holding ourselves to it, because that's really the only way it's going to stop. We have to stop allowing people to make us abide by that. While it is socially forced, each one of us has the power to say, no, this isn't right. This isn't right. Why is it that when it comes to us, our lineage, our history, why is it that it can be passed out to anyone, but when it comes to any other culture, any other race, especially Caucasians, it doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. Do you think that, let's say I was like a fourth Asian, right? Do you really think, and let's say I looked pretty much like this, do you think I'd be able to go into wherever that fourth is, Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, maybe I could get away with it with Filipino, but in all seriousness, do you think I could go in there, say I'm Japanese, and that they would have it? No, they're not having it. Do you think that I could go into the country club Black people can be in a country club too, but you know what I mean. Do you think I can walk up in a dominantly white area and be like, hey guys, isn't it a great day to be white? Like, no. So if there's an understanding that they're not going to accept that, then we need to have those same values and have those same standards. We don't have to pass Blackness out to everyone. I know we're a very sharing, a very giving, a very accepting people. For the most part, we do have some issues in the Black community, but we have to stop passing it out to everybody, and we have to stop. We just have to stop. All right, Wonders, I'm done with this. I want to hear from you all next. Tell me, I asked you questions early in the video, but yeah, tell me what you guys think. By the way, Wonders, my subscribers, you could be of any race. This is, while I am here for the betterment of Black people, I also challenge society as a whole as well. So Wonders can be white, Wonders can be Indian, Wonders can be anybody, right? But if it's a Black topic, I do ask that if you're not Black, that you just approach it respectfully, and let's all have a conversation. Let's all have a dialogue. Also, if you want to follow, I don't like saying follow because I'm not like some kind of God or some kind of Lord, but if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's not like it's jumping or anything like that, but on my Twitter, I do show my thumbnails before the video comes out. And I just thought it would be fun that you can kind of like guess what the next video topic might be, but you are welcome to follow me on Twitter. And I may put my email in the description in case someone wants to message me maybe an idea, or if you have any questions or anything like that. Again, please like and share the video. I'm a newer content creator, and I just want my message to go out there. I just want it to spread around. I just want to have an equal chance to be seen like everybody else. If you believe in this message, please share the video. So with that being said, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, Wonders.